Preston Burgess is the worst basketball player I've ever seen. He is washed, and he's terrible at fantasy football.
You are so right, LeBron. Preston really is terrible. The worst maybe ever. Really just not good.
Hope this is the last time, 'cause I'd never say no to you. This conversation's been dead on arrival, and there's no way to talk to you. This conversation's been dead on arrival. You're so deep between me and this lost of sleep about you. This is side one, flip me over. I know.
What's up, everybody? It's Cam Hand, the Fantasy Man, coming at you. Let's see if it'll work. Slideshow. There we go. With our Week 9 fantasy recap. Gonna try to try to make this one quicker than the last one. I know some of you like the long ones, but 50 minutes. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. Let's start to save the dates, okay? This will be the last time I'm going to put the Avalanche Capitals game on March 22nd up. Again, like I said, this is really just a ploy so I can give Doug and Greg dabs for never even considering coming to visit me. Because, like I said, they would, apparently, supposedly, big Avalanche fans. Do I think that either of them have watched a single Avalanche game yet? I don't. But they claim to be Avalanche fans and they claim to be hockey guys. So I just would love for them to come visit me, see what's going on up here, come to a game, be a good excuse. But that's not going to happen. But I'm still going to put it on save the date just so I can inevitably give them dabs for it. And then the same thing can be said here. I'm going to put together an itinerary for Thanksgiving Day weekend. When I come home, I actually discussed this with Hunter. But we're going to go out. I'm coming in Wednesday morning before Thanksgiving. We're going to go out on the town on Wednesday night, probably go to downtown Alpharetta. It'll be a great time. Dylan, we always go out and about when I come to town. Dylan loves to go out and do things, have fun, go to downtown Alpharetta, a little late night session. And so Dylan will be there. Of course, Andrew Riley, they're also two guys who like to have a good time as well. And I'm just putting this up there because I'm not going to ask anyone directly because I know the likes of Will, Hunter, Doug, whoever else you can think of, my supposed friends are going to say no, or they're not going to say no. They're just going to ignore the question and dodge around the question when I ask, hey, you guys want to go to downtown Alpharetta tonight with me and Dylan and some other people? And they're going to be like, no. Or they're not going to answer. They're just going to ignore the question. But I'm going to put it on save the date. That way I can, again, give you all dabs when you don't come and when you don't even, say anything about coming or not coming. But that being said, I'd love to have you guys there. We're going to hit downtown Alpharetta most likely. Again, Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Love to see you guys there. I don't expect to see any of you there, though. And then this, hopefully you guys do come. I've set a date for football. We're going to do football Sunday, November 30th at noon, Central High School football field as always. You guys do not have soccer, I've been told, on that Sunday, so I think it'll work out well. I think we will have a good game. So put it on your schedule, Will. No backing out. It's noon Sunday. Worst injury luck, we're going to go with Broker. He had the Tucker Kraft injury, pretty brutal. Real big bummer for somebody who had a lot of high aspirations. Most unlucky. Yeah, and you know what? Guess what, Guess what, Broker? I'm going to get Luke Musgrave too. So you're not even going to be able to get a good tight end off the waiver wire. And that's just because I bring this up because Broker was making fun of me for still having Fab. And you know what? Maybe if he had some Fab, he could pick up Tucker Kraft, but he's not going to. So Most unlucky. We're gonna go with Preston. We could go a few different directions here, but this was an absolute must win for Preston. He still scored 122, even with Alvin Kamara getting him negative points and Adunze getting him 0. And a lot of people might be like, "Oh, Preston's so dumb for making that Drake London trade," and I don't necessarily believe that. I think Adunze getting 0 is absurdly unlucky. I mean, Adunze's been good. Now he has not been the catch monster, the target hog that Drake London's been, but he's been very good, and he got the best matchup he could possibly get. The team put up like 50 points. The Bears put up like 50 points, and Adunze got 0. I mean, that's absurdly unlucky, if you ask me. I don't know how it happened. But then also Kamara's been bad, yes, but negative. And the fact that Preston still put up 122 and lost to Emory is nuts. I mean, Emory's team is not good, as we know. Not Emory's fault; it's Ashton's fault. But the fact that he actually had that easy matchup, supposed to be easy matchup in a must-win week, and he still put up 122, and it was going up against Emory, who just randomly popped off. I mean, that's brutally unlucky. And also that picture to the right is a very funny picture of me. Most lucky, we're going to go with me. I mean, it's obvious. If I were Bobby, I would be like, I didn't get lucky, because Bobby just can't admit that he's gotten lucky this season. And Greg would probably back me up too if I said I hadn't been getting lucky, but I have been getting lucky. I'm honest. I have some self-awareness here. I know I've been getting lucky. It's been crazy. But like I told Will today, I want more luck, because I texted Will. I said, man, if I would have beaten you last week, I would have been in a 6 spot. I would have been 6-3 or whatever. And Will was like, well, you can't complain about that because you've gotten so lucky so far. And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I want more luck. Like, I've gotten super lucky. I want it all. I want all the luck coming my way. But it was an absurdly lucky game. Dumbest move, Doug, for rostering 3 tight ends. Really, this was just to troll Doug, because I looked through it. There were no real dumb moves this week, and I just looked at Doug's roster. He's rostering 3 tight ends, and that's just silly. But it's not necessarily dumb, but I just wanted to give Doug just roast Doug a little bit. Smartest move, I mean, Will, this is probably the 3rd masterclass Will has had this season. I mean, this was an absolute masterclass by Will. I mean, he had his whole bench was full of buys, and he made it work. But smartest move, he picked up Colston Loveland, who popped off for like 30. And then he picked up Parker Washington, who is going to be a stud. I mean, my goodness. I mean, Travis Hunter's hurt. Now BTJ is hurt. And guess what? Will, before the week, picks up Parker Washington right when he hears Travis Hunter goes down. Parker Washington's the number 1 waiver ad this entire week, and Will's already got him. I mean, it was an absolute masterclass. He also made some great moves, just sticking with Travion and Rico Dowdle. Some people might have dropped Travion, but not Will. He rode with his guy, and it paid off. Best free agent move definitely is Will, with, again, Colston Loveland and Parker Washington pickups. And then best player is Will. I mean, he had tons of buys. He had to make 2 amazing pickups, Washington and Loveland, and he also had a number of risky plays, which were the Travion Henderson and Rico Dowdle plays that he did. And if you think Rico Dowdle's been sick, he has been sick, but he hasn't been that sick since Chuba came back, but he was sick again this week. And it was just, again, a masterclass by Will. Pivotal matchup, absolutely pivotal matchup, and he came through. Huge win for Will. Huge win. Best player of the week, hands down. Worst player, Matt. I mean, he had 99. He pretty much had the lowest points for. Worthy is not looking too hot right now. Debo and Addison have both also come back to earth. Debo's not putting up crazy numbers like he was in the beginning of the year. Addison came back, I think, with about 9 points this week. He's not just getting touchdowns left and right. And I think we're finally starting to see what everybody had expected. Towards the beginning of the year, Matt was just talking up Debo like he was going to finish top 5 wide receiver, top 10 receiver in the league. Everybody knew that was ridiculous. Matt knew that Debo would eventually cool off, and Debo has cooled off. And it doesn't look like it's getting any better for him. And you can't even use the excuse that Jaden Daniels is out, because Jaden Daniels played most of that game and Debo still wasn't very good. Yeah, I think Matt's team, whatever. I mean, Matt didn't do anything dumb, but he pretty much had the lowest points for. And again, Debo and Addison are coming back to earth, as we all knew. And Matt knew too. He just didn't want to admit it to the people he was trying to trade right. All right, let's go season segments. Dabs. Now you'll notice less dabs than normal. You know why? Because everyone in this league has been causing dabflation over the years. 10 dabs to everyone. You'll see I have a little picture here. I was looking back at my videos after this week, and I was like, man, my videos used to be 15 minutes long. How is that possible? And it's possibly because I looked back at the dabs. You guys used to do so much less dumb stuff. But you know what? I'll blame myself as well. I think the amount of dumb stuff you guys did has just radicalized me. So I have to call out every little dumb thing you did. But from now on with dabs, I am going to take more of an approach of I'm going to raise the bar a little bit for dabs. It's like, is it dabs when Will, is it dabs when Will does this, when Will does that, when I'm trying to think of a good example of a small dab. Like, is it dabs when Preston sends me pictures of his toes? Yes, but like maybe I need to raise the bar a little bit because these videos are just getting too long and I can't talk about every little dumb thing that you all do. So it's a little bit on me. I mean, I've just been hyper fixated on the little kind of silly things that you guys do, and that's caused these videos to go so long because I put so many dabs. But I'm going back to my roots. I'm doing less dabs. Dabflation to everybody, 10 dabs to everyone. We got here Bobby for not texting me back, even though I called him out for it and he recognized it and he still didn't respond. 8 dabs. So essentially, I texted Bobby like, "Hey man, you got to come to DC. We got this awesome casino because I went to the casino this week in DC." And I was like, "You would love it." And he didn't respond. He read it, didn't respond. And so the next day in the chat, I was like, "Hey," like I called Bobby out. I was like, "Hey, you didn't respond to my text, but you responded in the chat." And he goes, "Oh my goodness, like forgot to respond," or he said, "Oh, I didn't even see it," and then he still didn't respond to me. 8 dabs, even though he recognized he needed to respond to me. And then Bobby for also saying he didn't see my text when it said he read the text. 5 dabs. I mean, Bobby, if you're gonna lie about not seeing text, turn your read receipts off, man. Because I looked after you said you didn't see that I texted you and you had read the message, so obviously you had read it. So dabs. Preston for trying to trade everybody he just traded for what? Preston for trying to trade everyone he just traded for 5 minutes after he traded for them. Also, Preston only has 3 players on his team that he drafted. Will told me that stat. 5 dabs. So essentially, Preston makes a trade. Like he made that trade and got Alvin Kamara, and they text me instantly. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna flip Alvin Kamara now to Emery for this and that and this." And it's like every trade Preston makes, I talk to him 10 seconds after he makes a trade, and he's already drawing up the next trade that he's going to make with the people he just traded for. And it's like, dude, like you gotta have some direction here, and you gotta have a little bit of stability on your team. Like if you're trading for someone, you should like them and want them to be on your team. But not Preston. He trades for people and then instantly wants to trade those people away. It's a very strange way to go about it. Preston for becoming I ask you for your best player, regardless of what you tell me you want to give up guy. 7 dabs, we all hate that guy. Matt's one of those guys who you'll be like, "Hey, like I want to trade David Montgomery." And then he's like, "Okay, well, what do I have to give you for Justin Jefferson?" And you're like, "Dude, I don't want to trade Justin Jefferson. He's my best player." Preston's become one of those guys. He's constantly asking for your best player, even though you don't want to give him up. I think I saw that happened a lot this week with Matt. They were doing a lot of Jamar Chase talks. And I think Matt was kind of like, "Yeah, you can't get Jamar Chase." And Preston's like, "Okay, yeah, but what can I give you for Jamar Chase?" You guys know what it is. Matt for being so bad at talking trades that people are complimenting Preston for his trade talks. 7 dabs. I think we all know the frustrations I've mounted with different trade talks and whatnot with Preston. People are not, obviously, hey, we all like talking trades. But, people think that Preston is kind of a crazy trade talker. But Matt has taken it to the next level where Greg was texting me complimenting Preston because of how poorly the trade talks. You guys get what I'm saying. Basically, I got distracted because somebody walked by my office. But basically, Greg was like saying how Greg was like, "Yeah, Matt like does this when he's talking trade." And then he complimented Preston. He was like, even Preston like recognizes that Jake Ferguson isn't better than Tyler Warren, unlike Matt or whatever. So whatever, I'm explaining it poorly because I got distracted, but you guys get what I'm saying. Matt's just so bad at trade talks that people are now complimenting Preston for trade talks. And Matt, you're listening to this. I know. Hey, keep hitting me up. I don't think you're bad at trade talks. I think that you value your players more highly than other people value them. I think that you have strategies where you try to really trick people into trading for your guys. But I'm all for it. I think everybody in all reality is all for it. Everybody likes trades going on. Everybody likes being able to talk trades. So don't stop what you're doing. I'm not saying that, Matt, because look, I like talking trades with you. It's just the others. It's the other people. But even they, in their heart, like talking trades with you because talking trades is fun. So you would much rather be you, Matt, than Broker, even though Broker did make a trade, but or somebody like Sam back in the day. I'd much rather have you than somebody who doesn't talk trade. It's just crazy. But Doug for being in a Hawks fan group chat and never saying anything and showing no interest in the Hawks at all. 8 dabs. This is a group chat that me, Doug, and Alec formed years ago because we were both Hawks fans at the time, Atlanta Hawks basketball fans. Me and Alec are still Atlanta Hawks basketball fan, die hard. We talk all the time in that chat, and Doug never says anything. And we even make fun of Doug in that chat for not saying anything, and he still doesn't say anything. And so I guess it's really just dabs for Doug not being an Atlanta Hawks basketball fan anymore. And then when being called out in the group chat by Alec for not ever, talking about the Hawks, not ever watching the Hawks, not being engaged at all on the Hawks, Doug just completely ignores it. He doesn't say anything. And I think that's the ultimate sign of the fact that he has given up being a fan for the Hawks. Greg for forgetting Chick-fil-A is arriving in 10 minutes. Sweet. Greg for forgetting to bring the pressure washer to bowling to return to Bob, then saying that Bob doesn't even care if he gets the pressure washer back or not. 16 dabs. So if you guys remember, I gave Greg and Tyler and Doug dabs last week. Maybe not Tyler, but I gave Doug and Greg dabs for taking Bob's pressure washer. And you know what? My dabs do good, and I give myself dubs for this later because I'm doing good out here. So I give Greg dabs. So Tyler was like, hey, you know what? Cameron's right. I'm not getting any more dabs. We got to get this pressure washer back to Bob. And so Tyler tells Greg to bring the pressure washer to bowling so they can give Hunter the pressure washer to give to Bob. Greg ends up forgetting the pressure washer. Tyler is upset about this. Tyler's like, hey, Greg, like, it's embarrassing. Like, we have had his pressure washer for like 3 months. And we haven't returned it or said anything about it. Like, this is embarrassing. Tyler's PO'd that Greg forgot the pressure washer to give to Bob. And Greg, apparently, according to Tyler, the whole time is sitting in the car. Like, who cares? Like, what's the big deal? Like, Bob doesn't even care. Like, he doesn't even need the pressure washer. Like, but Bob doesn't. It's like, what are you talking about, Greg? It's like, it's the man's pressure washer. I mean, it's not a cheap piece of equipment here. It's like, how would you feel if I came over and took your TV? That's a bad example because you use your TV every day, but something expensive that you don't use every day, but you might use, you're going to be sitting there at home thinking, hey, is Greg ever going to bring back my pressure washer? I mean, even if Bob Saraday isn't actively thinking about the fact that Greg and Doug have stolen his pressure washer, like, it's still, and Tyler made this point, like, it's a sign of respect to return something back to somebody. And Greg, I think in his heart, he understands this. I think he was just being defensive against Tyler. I mean, Greg's no dummy. He knows that you can't just take people's stuff and then just not return it. But, it sounded like he was defending that kind of line of reasoning. Not to mention, I think Bob's the type of guy who cares that his pressure washer is gone. I think he is. I mean, call me crazy, but I think Bob Saraday is the type of guy who's like, hey, like, Bob Saraday, generous guy, nice guy. He'll let you borrow anything from him, but like, you got to bring it back. You know what I mean? It's like if I go over to Bob Saraday's house and take his blue cooler, like, even if he doesn't need it, I still got to bring it back because it's a sign of respect. And also, that Bob's the kind of guy who would appreciate you returning his items back in a timely manner. I'm starting to realize that these videos aren't long because of the number of dabs I give. It's because of the length of my explanation of the dabs. Greg for not realizing / recognizing that I gave him incorrect dabs, 8 dabs. Last week I said I gave Greg dabs for something, and within my dabs for him, I said that he didn't even have Kyle Manungai. I think it's Kyle or something Manungai on his team any longer. I said that in the dabs, and then after I posted the video, I went back and looked, and he does have Manungai on his roster. And Greg didn't even. I expected Greg to roast me in the chat, be like, Cameron said I had Manungai, and or I didn't have Manungai, and I do. I thought Greg would come at me. I thought Greg cared about this league. I thought Greg watched my videos, but either Greg's just glossing over dab sections, which I wouldn't if I was him because he's getting a lot of them, or he's just not even watching my videos. Like, how did Greg not recognize that I gave him the incorrect dabs? Like, that's crazy. But Dylan for thinking his wife can only be found in coming 3 dabs. This is so funny because I was talking to Dylan. You know, Dylan's on the hunt for a wife, as you all should be, and it was me, Andrew, and Dylan. And I was telling Dylan because he was basically like, yeah, like girls are so crazy on the apps, whatever. And I was like, dude, Dylan, like I see girls all the time, like around town, and they're, you know, good looking, and I'm sure they're nice. I meet nice girls all the time, like around the streets. Like, I don't believe you with Dylan when you say all these girls are crazy. And Dylan says, well, that's because you're in DC and I'm in Cumming. Like there's not that many attractive girls in Cumming. All the girls in Cumming are crazy. And then Andrew was like, what are you, Dylan? Like, why are you only looking in Cumming? Like, is your like hinge radius like 5 miles? Like, you know, you can talk to girls from like Duluth, Atlanta, Buckhead, you know, like wherever you want to say. It was just funny. Like Dylan was like, wait, what? Like, anyway, it just seemed as though Dylan was kind of making the point, well, like I'm only talking to girls that are in Cumming and they're all crazy in Cumming. And Andrew was kind of like, hey, like, you know, you can like expand your range and talk to girls from other parts of the Atlanta area. Lastly, this is good reverse dabs, and it's in Doug's favor because Doug got mad at me for giving him reverse dabs for the PK situation. So I'm giving it right back to Doug. I'm giving Dylan reverse dabs for some Doug dabs. Dylan for trying to give Doug dabs for borrowing velos and telling me velos in quotation marks, velos, aka Zins, to me as if I don't know what velos are. You can read this message. He said, Doug dabs for bringing an empty velo, and then he's in parentheses Zin can to bowling and bumming off of Will. First of all, I've seen that happen. I've seen everybody bum velos, aka Zins, from everybody at bowling. That's not too crazy with Dylan. But the fact that Dylan had thought the need to put Zin in parentheses because he thought I didn't know what velos are is dabs. I'm like, Dylan, like I'm not an idiot here. I know what velos are. You don't have to tell me. It's like, oh, like, yeah, like I just sold my Ford in parentheses car to Dylan because I thought he didn't know that Ford was a car. Like, I know what that is. Anyway, but Greg's the winner with that just horrific take on Bob not caring about getting his pressure washer back and then also not recognizing that I gave him incorrect dabs. Dubs, Cameron for selling his car. I sold my car for a solid price on Facebook Marketplace. Dylan told me it'd be really hard, and it wasn't really that hard. I got a nice older woman, and she paid me exactly what I wanted for it, and it worked out great. It was kind of a pain of a process, but it was awesome. 6 dubs, sold my car. Take that, Dylan. Hunter for coming up with some good random rankings ideas lately. 2 dubs. He's really come up with some really good rankings. Tyler for always being on the same page as me with trades and the Giles brothers shenanigans. 8 dubs. Tyler, like, me and him are so on the same page here with, like, for example, the pressure washer thing. He'll compliment me on my use of Fab. If I make a good trade, he'll let me know. We're just like, me and him are just just one mind here with in terms of a lot of things. And it's big dubs for Tyler because I'm a great fantasy mind and also just a great guy. So, good job, Tyler. Tyler for saying fantasy football has taken over his life. 4 dubs. I mean, it could almost be dabs because, I mean, it's taken over my life, obviously, and I kind of hate it. But it's just more dubs for Tyler really going all in on fantasy football and just really embracing it. And letting it take over his life. It's awesome. I mean, I really would mainly like Matt, Bobby, Hunter, and Doug to apologize to me for not wanting to kick Sam in favor for Tyler, because Tyler's been such an upgrade over Sam, and it's such an upgrade. And you guys all know him, right? I want official apologies from those 4 people because they didn't want Tyler in the league. They wanted to keep Sam, and I pushed for Tyler. And look, it's taken over Tyler's life. Tyler being responsible and actually embarrassed by the fact that they have not returned Bob's pressure washer, 5 dubs. I mean, again, you guys know what I'm talking about, but Tyler is actually like, hey, we got to get this pressure washer back to Bob after my dab segment. And it's awesome. I mean, Tyler, responsible guy. Dylan for being talked about so glowingly as a potential roommate option, 5 dubs. Will and Dylan, I think, are in talks to move in together. And me, Hunter, and Will, I think last Tuesday had a conversation about who would be the best roommates out of the league. And Dylan got a lot of high praise, especially from Will. Will really is excited to potentially live with Dylan. Cameron for making some good come out of the dabs and dub sections. Bob might get his power washer back because of my dab section because I put the pressure on him. I was talking to Preston this week, and he's kind of changed his approach to trade talks. He's not any longer. He's trying not to at least send completely terrible trades. I've talked him out of that a little bit. So 11 dubs. I think a lot of people are seeing my dabs and dubs, and they're making changes to their lives based on that. So I think I'm doing some good. Emery for getting his first win, 3 dubs. That's awesome. Will for beating Hunter, 8 dubs. And look, it's nothing against you, Hunter. I'm rooting for you this year, but it was just an awesome win for Will. And then the soccer team for getting their first win, and it was in playoffs. I'm only giving that 1 dub because, yes, it is their first win out of the year, which is pretty embarrassing. Doug, even I kind of roasted Doug for it, and Doug was like, hey, well, how many wins did your softball team get? And I'm like, not many, Doug. You're right. And it was embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I know how it feels to only get 1 win or no wins. So I'm a good person to talk about it. But they did make playoffs, as everybody does. And the first game of playoffs, they won. So that's a huge dub. This is league standings. You'll see there's just a little bit of movement between the top 5, and then 6 through 10 is just stays the same. And then the bottom 2, Emery and Dylan, are very clear. Who's winning the trade? I took off the preseason trade of picks because Matt just beat Preston on that. And then Chase Brown and Ladd, I give that slight edge to Will because Ladd's been good, Chase Brown's been good, and obviously Drake London's been great, but Drake London's not even on Preston's team anymore. So it's kind of a hard trade to evaluate now that Drake London's not on his team. So I think I might just take that one off. Derek Henry, Ridley, and Achane. I think that's a 50-50. Judkins is hurt. Nico's back, though, and he's good. Pollard's fine. And Devontae's good. But Achane's been great, and Derek Henry's been solid. I still think BTJ and Montgomery for Bucky and Rashad is about a 50-50 for me. Montgomery had a good week this week. BTJ, if he's injured, will then go. Then Will be the primary guy for that. Kamara and Waddle, I think that's just 50-50. I mean, Kamara's bad, but Waddle's been good, and Genty's been good now. It's still 50-50. This is another weird one because this is technically a 3-teamer, but Preston got the best player out of this. Now, Tyler got Laporta, who's been great, but that Preston didn't give Tyler Laporta, so it's kind of weird. Okay, I got to go get lunch, and I think I can pause this. But I think I give Preston the edge here so far because James Cook's been really good. Saquon and Addison, Diggs, J.K. Dobbins, still a big win for Matt. This is the new 3-teamer I did. For the 3-teamer, I just wanted to do letter grades. It just seemed easier. London was awesome. Golden and Kump injured, but doesn't matter because London's awesome. Kyron Williams, I gave up Kyron Williams for Brees. Kyron Williams was good this week. I'd say B+ for me. And then Preston, not good so far. Brees was on a bye. Hampton's still hurt. And Doomsday got him 0. But I think it's too early to give him an F. And then lastly, Preston and Greg. T was great, and Caleb Williams was better than Dak. And then Tyler Warren is still good. So I think you got to give major props to Preston so far for this trade because Sutton wasn't that good. But I think it'll probably even out. I think it was just kind of an outlier game for T. All right, I'm going to pause this real quick so I can go get lunch. I think I can pause and continue. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Our lunch isn't ready yet. All right, stock rising. I'd say broker, even though he lost Tucker Kraft. I mean, he's won 7 in a row, and I feel like I haven't given broker any props. I really looked at his team this week. I was like, wow, it's good. I think it's nasty, and I think it's underrated. A lot of people are talking about Doug, talking about Hunter, but Broker has the top points for, and he's won 7 in a row, guys. So I would say, at least for me personally, stock is rising for Broker. Stock falling, Matt. Not his stock's really not that much falling, but his team just looks a little worse. Again, like I said, Debo and Addison are coming back to earth. I think he dropped 1 spot in my ranking over here, so whatever. I gave it to Matt, no big deal. I think me versus Doug, even though our teams aren't close, even though Doug's has a lot more points for than me, I think this has been more of a personal rivalry throughout the season for me and Doug, and I think it's going to culminate in this matchup. I expect a lot of trash talk from Doug. I expect Doug to call me some mean names, and yeah, I think it's just more of a marquee matchup because of personalities and kind of personal relationships clashing, as not so much it being it's very important for me or him. I just think it's a big matchup. I just think a big rivalry, me and Doug. Most annoying, I'm going to give it to Ashton, just because nobody really annoyed me this week. Maybe Doug, but nobody really annoyed me, so I just figured I'd give another one to Ash. And then who had that dog is clearly Will. Again, he had a ton of bye weeks. It was a very important week for him. Made sick pickups, just big matchup versus Hunter. And he defeated Hunter's team, who's great. I mean, with all those buys, everything going against him, he still beat Hunter in an absolutely pivotal week. Absolute dog. You got that there. Going to ignore that. And so the first random rankings, we have a few here, really goes more back to just my own feelings. And this, I think, will put some pressure on some people. Maybe not. Probably not really. It's not going to end up mattering. But, I said, hey, guys, I hope you guys come out Wednesday night with me and Dylan and Caitlin and some of her friends and Andrew and Riley. It's going to be a great time. I hope you guys come out Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But in reality, nobody's going to come out. And so I made this this ranking here, most likely to go out on the town, and the excuses they're going to use to not go. Really, it's me. I'm always down to hang. And this isn't just on that Wednesday. It's all like just forever. It's just like all encompassing. I'm always down to hang and have an objectively good time. I throw objectively in there because I think a lot of you don't think it would be a good time, but it would be a good time. You guys would have a lot of fun if you came out and went out on the town once in a while with us. Dylan is always down to hang. He's always down to have an objectively good time, and he also wants to meet some ladies. So that's what's kind of motivating him. Matt, I think, I don't know Matt too well, but I've heard he's a super fun guy, and he likes to do things. He likes to have a lot of experiences. He likes to go skiing. He likes to go on trips. He likes to go out to a bar here and there, meet some people, have fun. So Matt's a super fun, cool guy. Bobby also, surprisingly, he's not afraid to go out on the town every once in a while. He likes to do things. He likes to have experiences. Emery, I actually don't know this for sure, but I'm sure he's not afraid. And then Preston, he doesn't like to drink or anything like that, which is totally cool. But he's also not shy to just go out and hang and have a good conversation. Preston will sit there, have a good conversation, and drink a Coke. Like, why not? You know what I mean? I think it's something that a lot of you guys could learn from Preston is like, hey, like, you don't have to go out there and put your head through a wall, but you can just go hang out, have a good chat, Next is 7, Tyler. So this is the line I put because there's really 6 of us that there's a possibility of going out. And then the last 6, there's literally 0% chance of you guys saying yes if you're asked. I will say Tyler has been known to have a good time. I mean, he popped off on the cruise famously, but I've just never seen him go out on the town. But I think there's a possibility he might. Then Hunter, number 8. I do think if it's connected to Haley, he will go out because I have heard him say that he's gone out on the town a few times in Atlanta with some of Haley's friends. But like if one of his friends asks him, as I've asked 1,000 times and Dylan has asked him 1,000 times to hang out, like go out on the town a little bit, it's met with the classic Saturday technique of dodging the question, never really giving an excuse because he just doesn't answer it. He just says, Will actually texted me today and told me to give dabs to Hunter for being bad at trade talks because he doesn't respond to trade talks. He just says, and then ignores it. And that's the total Saturday way is just dodging. Like you're gonna, hey Hunter, you want to come out to downtown Alpharetta tonight with me and Dylan and a bunch of friends? He's not going to say no because he doesn't want to say no because he thinks that's going to get him get him scolded a little bit. So he instead just goes, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, well, we're going out. Okay, maybe, yeah. And then there's never really an excuse given. He just kind of puts it off until the night's over. He will at least go to a concert, so that's a win. But he is also afraid of going out in public because of elbow lickers. We know that story. And then he'll also just tell you he's busy or has to wake up early. That's normally his go-to excuse. Broker, I don't have anything to say. I don't know. And then Doug, classic Doug move here is he'll say he's going, but then 15 minutes after he's supposed to be there, he'll text you and say he's too tired from being at work, as if Doug's like the only guy in the world that works. It's like, hey, you'll be like, hey, Doug, like, you want to go out? He'll be like, oh, yeah, like, maybe I'll be there. Yeah, I think I'll be there. And then it'll be like 6:15. He's supposed to be there at 6. And you're like, hey, Doug, where you at? And he's like, oh, I'm home. Like, I'm just tired from working. And you're like, okay, like, whatever. That's his go-to excuse. And then Greg just won't really give an excuse. He'll just say, nah, I'm good on that. That's kind of Greg's go-to. Which, at least I respect. At least Greg will just tell you straight up he's not going. But, yeah, so that's that. We have, again, we talked about roommates. These are the pro and cons and who Will would most likely want a roommate, or that's said poorly, of who Will most likely wants to room with. What am I saying? This is a ranking of Will Strand. Will Strand ranked everybody in the league by who he would want to room with. Now, there aren't numbers here, but this is still Dylan's number one. The pro that Will gave me was that they're great friends and they have a lot of common interests. They like concerts, they like football, and maybe he'd get me to work out. Now, a theme throughout this whole thing is I'm going to be offended because Doug didn't start working out until he stopped living with Dylan. Dylan's never gotten a roommate to start going to the gym once. I, on the other hand, as I told Will, I got Riley and Logan both to start working out when they lived with me. Like, neither of them, those were two skinny guys. I would go to the gym and I would encourage them to go to the gym with me, and they started going to the gym. Now Riley's jacked. Logan used to be jacked. He's lost it all after he stopped hanging out with me. But so that's ridiculous. Dylan's not getting Will to go to the gym. If anybody's getting anybody to go to the gym, it's me, because I have a track record. And then the con is Dylan would have too many ladies over. That's fair. Hunter would be number 2, great friends. So anybody who doesn't have great friends as a pro, Will hates you, just so you know, because he puts great friends down for the people he thinks he's great friends with. Everybody else, he hates you. So great friends, knows him the most. Our girlfriends are friends. We also have the same major. I didn't even know. Is Will graduated from college? I don't know. The con would be Hunter would leave stuff in random places. He might find the TV remote in the bathroom. Also, I brought this up, the tissue incident. You'll remember Hunter went to Sydney's house and used a bunch of tissues and then just put them right back in the box and left the used tissues in the box at Sydney's house. So I think Will would appreciate me including that as a con. Let me pause it again real quick. All right, I am back. My work's having Chick-fil-A. Tyler, number 3. I agree with this. I think this is a solid Dylan, Hunter, Tyler. I agree with that. Pro, super positive, cleans up after himself. Yes. Very funny. Will says very driven individual, and he cooks. So that's that. Con, honestly, can't think of one. Totally fair. Doug, pro, great friends. Again, Doug and Will, great friends, but you'll see, for me, there's not a great friends there. I guess we're not cool, me and Will. I mean, he only came to my wedding. Would give me free rides to bowling. Free ride, like Will's paying for rides to bowling. Wouldn't be able to make fantasy trades anymore. That is a great con, because yes, it's very hard to make fantasy trades when you live with Doug. You just have to keep them completely in the dark. I've been talking trade many a times with Greg or Tyler, and Doug just pops out of nowhere and he's like, "You guys talking trades? Like, you better not be talking about trades." Doug says, "No trades in my house." That's what Doug thinks. Next is Greg, chill dude, wouldn't cause any issues, could watch football, seems driven. Con, house would probably smell sometimes. I guess Greg is smelly. Cameron, I mean, this is just phenomenal. I mean, I'm not saying I should be above any of the people that have been listed here, but basically my pro is we both watch football. I mean, what a nice thing to say about me, Will. I mean, it's just, I mean, Will must really like me. I mean, we both watch football, so I mean, it's pretty great. And then Khan, I would get double dabs, which that's fair. If I lived with Will, I would probably be unloading on dabs on him. And also, he has a wife. Okay. This is such dabs from Will. It's like this. It's like my wife, and he puts Preston. He's like, "Oh, Preston has a wife and kids." It's like, no, like we're not including the wife and kids. Like, Caitlin would not live with us. Like it's just us. It's just me. It's just Preston. It's just, I don't know. He has a wife. It's like, yes, obviously, I should be much lower on this list if Will is assuming that my wife is going to come and live with us. Um, Bobby Pro, good with cars. I don't know why that is a pro for living with somebody. Decent and caring person, fair. He has a great insight into everyday conversations. That's great. How did Bobby get a better pros than me? Like, we watch football together. That's what Will has to say about me. But Bobby is a decent and caring person who has great insights into everyday conversations. Like, that's the nicest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anybody. Could make the house smell and is a little lazy. That's what Will said. I didn't say that. Matt, if we were in Utah, we could shred. Khan, if we were in Georgia, he would have no idea if they could socialize together. Broker, we both like football and Albion. Khan, I've only met him maybe twice. Totally fair. Preston, he's tall and could reach things. That's funny. Khan would have to fight Emmett at 18. He has kids, so they cry. He also doesn't know him very well. Again, I mean, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But M or he, pro, he likes football and gaming, would have a lot of friends over playing Secret Hitler, and it would be loud. That one's kind of dumb. And lastly, this is from Barbara. What medication the league is on, according to pharmacist Barbara. Apparently, Barbara is a pharmacist. So we asked her, this is Hunter's idea, to say, hey, what medications are people on the league on based on? I mean, she knows some of us, and then also I sent her pictures. But Hunter, basically an inhaler due to vape. I added the Adderall because that's so obvious. I mean, Hunter's the biggest ADHD guy, and he actually does take Adderall. So, Tyler, Toradol, because all I've heard him talk about is his swollen ankles, and it's an anti-inflammatory. That's actually hilarious. Because like I'm just thinking Barbara's like doesn't know Tyler. She's like, I've talked to him like 4 times, and all he talks about is his ankles. It's like a big topic for Tyler. That's funny. Lamisil, I'm probably butchering these names. Lamisil, because he looks like he would have ringworm. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say about Emery. Matt, Viagra, no explanation needed. Broker, doxycycline for sun sensitivity due to his fair complexion. Concerta, because it's considered communicative, and I seem like the planner of the group. I am. I appreciate you noticing that, Barbara. I'm the only one here that tries to get these slackers to do something. And then Dylan, Perpecia, because people use it to grow their hair, and he's the embodiment of what they are going for. Greg, penicillin. When I saw penicillin, I thought, yo, because Greg has a sexually transmitted disease. No, it's because all I was told about him is that he's old and wise like penicillin. Who told her that Greg... Oh, sorry, someone's looking at me. What's up? I gotta pause this 1 sec. I'm back. Sorry, guys. It's been crazy. Where was I at? Greg, penicillin. I mean, Greg, he's old and wise. I mean, old, I guess. I mean, but not really. Definitely not wise. Preston, pink liquid amoxicillin for his kids. Bobby, vitamin C because he was in the Navy and it helps you with scurvy. Will, metformin because it's my least favorite drug and she doesn't like him. Doug, diazepam because typically you are calm, but occasionally gets emotional like in fantasy. So I think that's totally fair. And I hope this video was done properly. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's probably not going to be that much quicker because I talked a lot. But you know, I'm working towards making these things shorter. All right. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.